It's been a while since Virginia Tech and Miami had conference and national championship implications while the defenses were flying around with NFL talent. That's clearly the case in this year's matchup, however, with the ACC Coastal on the line in South Florida and a massive clash between two college football playoff contenders invoking some old memories of their clashes from decades ago. That didn't mean there weren't many big plays on Saturday night, however, as number 10 Miami used several to power their way to a 143 lead over number 13 Virginia Tech heading into the break. The Hurricanes found the end zone first thanks to a great route by wideout Braxton Berrios, who galloped past the goal line after catching a perfect slant pass from quarterback Malik Rosier. The latter finished the half with 77 yards through the air to go with 50 yards rushing and an interception, and was looking sharp in his biggest test yet against a feisty Bud Foster defense. Tailback Travis Homer was responsible for the rest of the team's points, ripping off a 64-yard touchdown run in the second quarter to finish the half with 71 on the ground. The ability for the home team to move the ball was a sharp contrast to the visitors. The Hokies managed just one sustained drive in the half, and that resulted in a 50-yard field goal after quasi-pitch fumble from quarterback Josh Jackson. It certainly appeared the offense started to click more and more as the game went on, so Justin Fuentes' side is certainly well positioned to mount a comeback after making adjustments in the locker room. The winner of this one has a clear path to a division title and a potential berth in the college football playoff, so you can expect a closely contested final two quarters in Miami. Number 22 Arizona had designs on a surprise Pac-12 South title after a terrific run in October, but things haven't played out to script in the first half of their trip to the Coliseum against number 17 USC on Saturday night. The Trojans pounced early to take a 216 lead into the locker room after two quarters, using a big special teams play to supplement their solid defense on Wildcats star Khalil Tate to look a little more like the team we all expected to see at the beginning of the year. The home team struck first on the scoreboard by getting a rare special teams touchdown, with Michael Pittman Jr. blocking a punt that Jalen Green scooped and scored with from 11 yards out. That ignited the crowd in Los Angeles and seemed to set the tone for the Cardinal and Gold. Quarterback Sam Darnold threw a horrific interception, his 18th turnover of the year in the end zone, but was otherwise pretty sharp in the first half, completing just 10 of 15 passes for a pair of touchdowns and 147 yards. He was really playing second fiddle in the offense though, as tailback Ronald Jones was the real star of the show, rushing for 69 yards and generally getting whatever he wanted on the ground, including a 98-yard score that was called back due to a receiver holding call. The real story of the game was the Trojans' defense though. They limited Tate, the dynamic Wildcats signal caller, to just 4 completions for 29 yards in the air, and most notably was bottled up running the ball with just 15 on the ground. Arizona, which had allowed 5 sacks all season, uncharacteristically gave up 2 in the first half too. We'll see what adjustments both sides make, but there's some strong Pac-12 after dark potential for the second half, especially given all the upsets and crazy endings we've seen today. The winner can basically take control of the Pac-12 South with a victory, so things could get very interesting despite the home team being up by 2 scores. Why anyone ever punts anywhere near Dante Pettis is beyond me, yet, here we are, again, and again and again and again, entering Saturday's action. The Washington returner extraordinaire was tied for the FBS career record for punts returned for a touchdown with 8, in the second quarter of the Week 10 game against Oregon. The wide receiver put himself alone at the top of that particular chart. That 64-yard scoring return gives him 9 and breaks the tie that Pettis had been in with Texas Tech's Wes Welker 200,003 and Oklahoma's Antonio Perkins 200,104. Not only did Pettis, who has 4 for scores in 2017, break that career mark, HES also within one of tying the single-season mark of set first by Hawaii's Chad Owens in 2004 and matched by North Carolina's Ryan Switzer in 2013. Earlier this year, Pettis also joined Kansas State's David Allen 1998 and Switzer 2013 as the only players in FBS history to return a punt for a score in back-to-back games. Hard-hitting defense, big plays on offense, celebrities in boxes and on the sidelines, a loud crowd on a smoke-filled South Florida night. You know what, folks, the U might indeed be back on the national scene. Number 10 Miami secured the inside track to their first ACC Coastal Division title on Saturday night, beating number 13 Virginia Tech 2,810 to remain undefeated and pass their biggest test of the season. The Hurricanes' ornate turnover chain made 4 appearances along the way as part of another strong defensive effort. In addition to hauling in 2 interceptions, they also recorded 2 fumble recoveries and bailed out their suspect offense several times after turnovers of their own. A key moment in the game came midway through the third quarter. Quarterback Malik Rosier, 193 yards, 2 touchdowns, had just tossed his 3rd interception, and the Hokies were slowly moving toward the end zone. Head coach Justin Fuente opted to go for it on 4th down instead of kicking a long field goal, but a bad snap resulted in a fumble and turnover on downs. The Canes promptly capitalized on that sequence by finding the end zone on a 43-yard touchdown pass to Chris Herndon just 3 plays later. That extended the Miami lead at a critical time in the contest, and they later added to it with a Rosier scramble past the goal line that all but salted the game away in the 4th quarter. The comfortable margin, a blowout by recent standards, was their first win by more than 1 score since late September. Running back Travis Homer also had 95 yards rushing to pace the home team, including a 64-yard scamper to the end zone in the first half. While they were in the game most of the night, Virginia Tech never could seize momentum and take control. Josh Jackson threw for 197 yards and 2 picks under center, doing what he could to only get sacked 4 times despite constant pressure in his face. Travon McMillan led the team in rushing with 55 yards, but it was an otherwise unmemorable effort running the ball. Depending on how things shake out, the Hokies could still be playing for a New Year's Six bowl bid if they continue to win out, but they'll need some additional help to make it Charlotte given the 2 conference losses. Saturday night was all about their U, however. Miami will almost certainly move up in the top 10 given the victory and a number of other losses around the country, setting up a massive game at Hard Rock Stadium against their old rival, number 3 Notre Dame. The Irish and Hurricanes have waged some memorable ones over the years with national title implications on the line, and it seems that will be the case once again. It wasn't dominant and it wasn't pretty, but it was a 2-touchdown win over a top 20 opponent in which the home team was never seriously threatened. Such is life in this series after number 2 Alabama scored its 7th straight win over number 19 LSU in a 2,410 final in Tuscaloosa. The streak, which began after LSU won at Bryant-Denny Stadium in the 96 overtime game of the century, has seen Alabama win by an average score of 2,310 in a series that used to be as competitive as any in college football. Alabama opened the scoring on a 4-yard toss from Jalen Hurts to Irv Smith Jr., then pushed the lead to 14 on a 9-yard burst by Bo Scarborough. LSU finally dented the scoreboard with a 21-yard Connor Culp field goal with 838 to go in the first half, ending LSU's scoreless streak against the Crimson Tide at 90 minutes and 40 seconds, dating back to the 4th quarter of its 2016 loss in Tuscaloosa in 2015. Hurts effectively put the game away for good with a 3-yard rush at the 255 mark to go in the 3rd quarter. LSU immediately responded thanks to backup running back Darrell Williams, who broke free for a 54-yard run and then punched in a 2-yard touchdown to pull the Bayou Bengals within 2,110. But Andy Pappanastis pushed the lead to 14 on Alabama's next drive with a 40-yard field goal at the 13:25 mark of the 4th quarter, and LSU never threatened again. Danny Etling hit 12 of 26 passes for 137 yards and an interception that led to Alabama's 2nd touchdown. He was replaced by Miles Brennan, who completed 3 of 5 throws for 18 yards. Williams led all runners with 83 yards on 7 carries, and Darius Geese added 71 yards on 19 carries. Though the Tigers did lose 34 yards in sacks, LSU 63-32 SEC still managed to outrush Alabama, 151,119. Hurts led the Tide with 44 yards on 14 carries while hitting 11 of 24 passes for 183 yards and a touchdown. LSU also won the first downs battle, 16-14, and possessed the ball for more than 8 minutes more than Alabama. The home win will either serve as a wake-up call or a warning sign for Alabama as the schedule picks up from here. The Tide 90-60 SEC will visit number 16 Mississippi State next week before closing with a trip to number 14 Auburn and, presumably, a date with number 1 Georgia, who clinched the SEC East on Saturday, in Atlanta.